Well, there you go. Wow, another week gone past already. We're really cramming them in before Flux exhibition comes to you in a few weeks' time, actually in July. So it's very interesting. Every single person that I've interviewed so far has been different to the last one, and tonight is no exception because my guest tonight is really really cool, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. Before we get started, of course, just a little bit about Flux. You've got the Flux Review magazine, edition 12's out now. I believe that Lisa's probably already started working on the next edition when she gets time, because obviously she's planning the layout of Flux. And that is, again, just to remind you, 17th to 20th of July. The private view is on the 17th, but after that, anytime over the weekend, you can come down, and there's all sorts of things happening as we go on. You can see here what kind of exhibition it is, because it's in a fantastic place called the Bomb Factory in Marylebone Road, and as you can see, internal, really quite industrial. It's brilliant, and there are no booths. So if you've been to exhibitions where there are booths for the artists, it gets a bit confined, very difficult to see people and speak to people. Not like that at all. Each artist has its own section of wall, but the walls go all the way around 3 different rooms. And it is Anaphylactic is hosting, as well as Licorice Black. So the pair of them, as usual, if you've been in the past, you'll know exactly who they are. So tonight's guest, we just had a little chat before we started, and it's going to be a good one, a really good one. And very interestingly, another musician. This is what we love. Absolutely love the fact that musicians and art, there is a synergy. So to that end, we're going to, as usual, I've put a little video together. We will see my guest's work, and then we will bring Holly in. So here we go. So, as I said, there's some quite thought-provoking, can't say that when you've had a few drinks, thought-provoking images there, which we're going to talk to Holly about right now, actually. If I press the right button, here we are.
Hello.
I'll move you over the other side there because it makes it easier for me. Well, that's quite amazing work there,
Thank
Holly.
you.
And I know there's a bit of a story towards the ones at the end of that, and we will come back to that shortly. But first of all, before we start anything, I said right at the beginning there was a bit of a link with musician and
Absolutely.
and art. So tell us about that side.
Absolutely.
Of your life.
Well, I studied art in college and a little bit further on in Germany. And then I moved to England because with my twin sister, I always wanted to make music. And I think that's where the connection comes in. I wanted to do music to express myself. And we basically, we went over here and started a little bit of writing and stuff. And we were lucky enough to get in the charts and do lots of touring all over. And it was always in the beginning, it was more like when you're fresh in the business, it's like you can't really say what you want to do. But later on, we really put our soul into the songwriting as well. And it was a really, really good outlet for us. So, yeah, we've been, I think, touring the UK for about 5 years. And we had a few record deals and stuff. And I still absolutely love music. We've just been to Download Festival. And it's still very important to me. I still sing privately. But as the music business go, I went to the age where it was not good to be out there anymore.
Well,
And
yeah, okay,
then
maybe.
not for me personally, but for the kind of big level, I was signed to Warner Records and to Simon Fuller, Spice Girls, Annie Lennox, and so on. And I think, yeah, in the end, I thought, okay, I'm not gonna force it because it's gonna screw my fun, so to say. So yeah, I moved on. I moved to America for 5 years, and there I got really back into creating with drawing and painting and stuff.
So what were you called?
Okay, I'm not sure if you have to beep this because, okay, the first band I was in was called Digital Orgasm. And
Okay.
yeah, then we were called Pleasure Deluxe. And my heart project was called Glückskinder, which means lucky children. And it was basically just my sister and I and her then boyfriend. And we did lots of acoustic stuff and so on.
Well, now so there's going to be people Googling that now. And when we finish this,
God.
I'm going to be Googling it as well. Don't you worry.
Oh my God, you rather don't.
Mind you, if I Google some of those names,
my God.
probably something else is going to come up.
Oh God, yeah. I know, especially with the first one. Explain that to your granddad when you go home over Christmas and they ask you, what's your name? And then, thankfully they're German because I'm German born. So I said Digital Orgasm. And he said, oh, what does this mean? I said, well, it's like a digital highlight and everything, and not explaining it any further. When we did Top of the Pops, they only named us Digital. So yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It was wild.
So you went from you went to San Diego. That's where you and is that where you started really on your art journey in San Diego?
I really because I did lots of art before the music career, and it was really funny. I didn't accept, but I think I didn't find really what would fulfill me most. So I dabbled in lots of stuff, but in San Diego I had more because it was like a completely different environment. And I used to live always with my twin, and my twin didn't come with me to San Diego. So I was more on my own, and funnily enough, I got into this by I needed to earn some money and I didn't have a job yet. So I painted actually piggy banks for money in the beginning. But that really got me back into art. And also all the experiences I had there, I really had to express myself. And I really started getting back into art then.
So you're on your website, it does actually say mixed media, sculpture, painting, but it's like you've now sort of kind of settled into the drawing side that obviously is your thing.
Yes.
So is that because you tried all those different things, or is it because trying to find what was you and eventually you got to where you are? Is that fair comment?
I think, in the beginning, I also really like painting a lot, but I felt like, how should I say it? I feel like more drawing I can do everywhere. I can take my little pad and my pens, and with painting, it's a little bit more complicated. I take my paintbrushes and this and that. And I think also because I really do lots of black and white. I think and for the details I was doing, I think that's the best technique for me. It's very fulfilling for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we can do is we can bring up a few that I've put together. Let's drop us like that, and we can see. So so my guest last week, and probably the I think the week before, that they didn't really use models as such. The kind of this was straight out of the head. But are you in a position where this is actually somebody that you've drawn and actually does exist, or is this out of
This is
a
a mix.
mixture of
So
both?
this is a mix
Yeah.
of both, exactly.
Okay.
Sometimes I get pictures from friends, from grandparents where I know they look very impressive and stuff, but I don't know them personally. Sometimes I just find faces. Sometimes I tweak them so they're more what I want to express. So it's really it's a mix, really. So
Yeah.
I think mainly it's about half. Half people I know and half of the people I just find very interesting. Sometimes when I see very interesting people on the street, I just take a photo and ask if I can use it for later for drawing. So it's a mix. I was lucky enough. There's one picture in there of. I usually mainly draw women, but
Okay.
there's a picture of their bearded guy, and I was super lucky. There's this photographer Oded Wagenstein, and he actually approached me and said he loves my work, and if I want to pick him exactly, if I want to pick a portrait he did, and he would like to see, how it turns out. And that was super lucky because I really love his work. It's quite deep, and so this was this gentleman.
Right. So when you're doing this, what's your technique? What are you using? Is it pencil? Is it charcoal? Is it paint? What's your,
For me, charcoal. I first tried with charcoal, and it didn't really work for me as well because I like to do the super fine details. So I mean, it's mainly pencil, but sometimes I feel like the dark isn't dark enough, and that's where usually a little bit of paint or pen comes in. But most of it is pencil, really.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just. Yeah, it's weird because when I started doing this, I started doing this during Corona. I did the whole series, which we saw just now with the older people, because I was just really upset how people reacted during that crisis, like, oh, let the old people die, they're old anyways and stuff. And I really felt compelled to make a point that, our elders are really important. They made us who we are, they fought wars for us, and they gave us advice, and they have wisdom. And I think that's why I started. And in a way, the details also matter to me because I know from our talk you spent lots of time on your artwork. For me, this is not as much time, but it's probably about, depending on the piece, between 30 and 60 hours, because I tend to always go back and refine and do other things. And the details are matter to me because I feel like I want to spend time with that person. I want to see that person. And I think that's why it's got so detailed, and pencil is just the best for me in that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, the emotion in the actual drawing and the emotion in the eyes in particular. I mean, if you go back to, the emotion in the eyes and how you manage to create that with a pencil. That's the one thing I think that's always impressed me when people do this sort of work is how they manage to convey the real person.
I
And I
think
think that,
you go ahead, sorry.
No, it's all right. No.
Yeah, I think for me, really, it's funny because even if I stick completely to the photo, I think the eyes will always turn out a little bit bigger in my drawings than they would be naturally, because really, like, the eyes are the windows to the soul for me. And I think the most important point for me is to transport that emotion of that person, basically. And that's why the eyes are very important to me.
So before we carry on with a few more of those, so where did you, when did you first sort of realize that pencil was going to be your route, and also how much studying did you have to do or did it come really naturally to get that sort of look?
I think I always dabbled a lot with pencil, but not with portraits, more with like animal drawings and stuff like that. So I had a fear already where I kind of trained myself how to use it well, but I was just, it was Corona, lots of time, and I thought I really want this, and then I thought, I really it was really weird for me, because sometimes what I usually do, because I really I don't see it as a whole. I do the outlines and everything, and then I start really working like inch by inch. So I don't look at the whole picture. I do inch by inch, and then when I did a certain part, I take a photo and see if this is what I feel like. And I experimented with lots of things. I realized that the electric eraser is my friend for
Oh,
highlighting stuff. Yeah, it's really
yeah.
important for me. And also, I went through lines and circles and everything. And I had so much time during the pandemic. I really had lots of time to try everything. And then, I mean, the first drawing probably took the longest, because when I didn't like it, I erased it and did it over again. But I think it didn't. It's a technique that somehow was natural to me. So it's not like I had to force myself to learn it.
So what about make of pencil? Have you got a particular brand of pencil that you go, this is the best for me?
So funny that you say that, because I was at a art show from Sweet Art, and I did get a goodie pack, and they provided me with a pencil in there. Yeah, and I can't remember the make or whatever, but I know this was my favorite pencil.
Oh,
So I used this up to the very last, and I loved this pencil, and I still swear this was the best pencil I ever used. But right now, as I don't know how to replace it,
no.
I know I'm constantly on the lookout, and I haven't got a clue. It was black, I know that much. Anyway, so but now I'm using usually I do a switch between mechanical pencils, just because I feel like the line is more precise. But
Okay, yeah.
I mostly use harder pencils, but Derwent or whatever. But I'm not, I just have to, I can't say it's a specific brand or whatever. I just sometimes I have a good brand and it doesn't do anything for me. It's just, I don't know, it's a feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and it's interesting because it is your tool. It is the thing you use to create your art. So, almost in the same way that an artist who uses paints, there has to be they like particular types. So that I mean, that was why I asked the question. So we'll jump back to a few more of these, because we've got. As you say, you do tend to choose to draw women, and with my art, you will see at Flux, I tend to photograph women, and people say to me,
Interesting.
why?
Yeah.
People say to me, why women and not men? And my attitude is because of the shape and form, and that's what it is for me. You don't get that in the same way with men. And also, unless I was doing a picture like this of a man. So let's go back to your this one here. If I was taking that photograph, then I would be in all of the creases in the skin. You in Photoshop, you use dodging and burning to make them darker. You do the highlights, pretty much probably what you're doing with your electric
Exactly.
laser. You're bringing out the highlights, darkening down to
Exactly.
make those folds. Yeah,
Exactly.
amazing. Yeah. I mean, I did start out life as a graphics teacher, so I kind of understand, because then we used the electric razor, but we used it for erasing mistakes, not for
and
putting
for us
highlights
it's
in.
exactly. I know, but for me, obviously, I got the electric eraser to begin with for mistakes, and then I realized, hang on, if I
Yeah.
do this and that, this kind of looks good, and now I feel like just certain points that just look better if they're a little bit more bare, and that's how I use it. Yeah.
All right. So before we go on to that, so I mean, that's interesting to me because that's kind of what I was getting at when I asked, how did you hone your technique? And
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much what you've just explained there, that
Mm-hmm.
you've used different things and suddenly think,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, this one works.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty much the way most artists work, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who are extremely lucky that they can just pick something up and do it.
Yeah,
But
I know.
yeah,
But not
I'm
me.
not one of those.
No, me neither.
So, and this I've read about this next little series we're going to look at. I've read about
Mm-hmm.
this on your website because these are these are really quite poignant and really quite
Mm-hmm.
thought provoking, aren't they? This next
Mm-hmm.
series of sort
Mm-hmm.
of four. So, look, I don't want to ruin that by me saying what they're about. So let's hear from you what
Okay.
this series relates to.
Okay. So I had when I was in San Diego, I myself had experiences with an abusive relationship, and this was something that I got divorced. I was married, and it was really hard for me to express what happened there. And this doesn't even mean it's physical abusive relationship, because I believe that even mental abuse can be just as
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
And for me, I really wanted to create the series to express my hurt and to get some of this energy out, this negative
Mm,
energy. And uh, I thought, again, the eyes are just a very important point for me. And the most important point about that series is for me that you see the desperation, or also that you feel like blank or whatever, and you see the scars, but the scars are probably not even there anymore, but they're underneath
yeah,
there.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I put all of these in a peekaboo heart, because obviously so many things like that happen behind closed doors,
Mm,
and if you have a neighbor or whatever, and you feel like, yeah, there's something going on, but she says whatever, she fell down the stairs or whatever, I think it's still a very big hushed secret. And I just wanted to express my feelings for that, so I put it in the heart, because the series is called Love Hurts, because obviously for any outstanding person, this can't be love if somebody's abusive towards somebody else. But from own experience, it's a weird concept that you still can, in a way, love your abuser. That has lots of different reasons. You have got kids with them, or they support you financially, or you don't know any other kind of love or whatever, but
mm,
you still consider it love, even though it's probably not love. And yeah, it's a very personal theme, really, to me, and it's important for me to really express that. I think that it's also, I don't know, it should show also that that it goes further, because I think many people, and I'm not talking only about, as I say, physical stuff, even mental stuff, it's going to stick with you, it's going to hurt you, and it's probably very likely make you a different person. So that was a very, very close to my heart aspect of
mm.
the series. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I look at it as an outsider,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, because this is the first time that I'm talking to you about your work. So I'm looking at it
Mm-hmm.
as an outsider, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very symbolic that you've
Mm-hmm.
used the heart. Very
Mm-hmm.
symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
Often the case is that okay, the eyes, especially if they're like this particular eye, but eyes
Mm-hmm.
generally tell one story, a face tells another, but
Mm-hmm.
actually the true
Absolutely.
story is there in the heart. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
quite
Absolutely.
very
Mm-hmm.
poignant and
Mm-hmm.
clever
Mm-hmm.
how you've used that. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing a piece like this, what sort of size is that?
This size, the hearts are usually about this size,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I use obviously like gold leaf or whatever around it, because it's like, um, it's for me, it's like I wanted to give the victims worth, and that's because of the gilding. So it should be, yeah, I think with every piece I do, I always want to give the person I'm drawing more worth. I'm very much into standing up for the overlooked, for the mental health and everything, for people who are usually where people don't look, and so I always try to give them more sense of worth, and that's why it's gilded. And so they're about this size.
I mean, the only thing that I've sort of had a few artists in common is the music link, but also there's I've had maybe 3 or 4 that have also used gilt and gold leaf on their work too, and it does give it a different edge, definitely.
Absolutely. I
Very,
started actually doing it. My very first complete series I did was very inspired because in San Diego there's so many homeless people there, and I encountered so much because obviously it's warm and everything, and it's like in Los Angeles in Skid Row and stuff. It's really it was for me. I mean, you see lots of poor homeless people in London as well, but in California and Southern California, it's so much more in your face. And I did work together with a photographer who did street photography on Skid Row, and I did have a few women there who I particularly highlighted in my art, and there I started using the gilding technique because, again, I wanted to make them worth, because most people look at those women like dirt or whatever, and I just wanted to embrace that they're also precious human beings. They have probably depression, anxiety, drug problem, alcohol problem, never had a home or whatever, but they're still worth something. They're somebody's daughter, somebody's whatever. So so I think that's where I started it.
interesting. I mean, it's if we can just pop back to those because we've got a few more, and almost feel like the level of abuse appears to be getting worse.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's it almost, and I'm going to say this before we get there, but I'm wondering whether the last picture is almost okay. I've had enough now, and it's the one with all the words written all over it. So be interesting if we get to that point, whether I'm that's what I feel anyway. Right. But it's kind of maybe a different tone, because this, all the skin, everything is really quite bruised and really coming out in what you've created. But again, it's a similar thing. So it's difficult for me to ask you, how do you choose your color palette? Because obviously you do, but because I generally ask most artists that question. But in an instance like this, and also probably in the previous one, it chooses itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I couldn't say it any better.
yeah,
Absolutely. It's not
yeah,
something exactly.
yeah.
Couldn't say it
So
any better.
again, you've got have you based this on any one person, or have you used some of the pictures you've taken of people and then done this to bring that out, or is this based on somebody else's story or your own story? What
Is
is this really?
basically it is, and I can say that my abuse wasn't on the physical level, it was more
Okay.
on the mental level, but
Mm,
I felt this basically. So it's like
mm,
it is, in a big way, it's based on me. I think the whole series is based on what I experienced in those 5 years. But
yeah.
I I looked a lot at bruises and stuff, how this is, because in a way as I said, even if you're not getting hit, sometimes there's even self-harm coming into it, and if you know what I mean, because so it's like I think it is based on me, but the bruises are more from where I did research. What does it look like? I want you to feel that pain, basically, and I think that's how it came about. Yeah,
So
and this one, yeah.
yeah, let me just see. Okay, this is the last one. That's correct. Yeah. So here we've gone away from the eye completely, and we've now got to the now we've got to the right. You can
to the
go
gritting
away
teeth. Yeah,
through gritted teeth. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I think that's now my time in San Diego is back about 13, 14 years. And obviously I went through a lot of recognition. I went through a lot of growth. I went to a little bit of therapy, and I'm at a very different point now. I don't feel as a victim anymore. I feel more angry about certain things. And I think this is really why the others were more the victim side of things. I think this is more my stance right now. I feel angry, and I don't think it could ever happen to me again. And it makes me super mad to see what's going on, like political side with Trump and whatever, with taking away the rights from women. It makes me super mad to see Giselle Pellicot, what her husband did. And I'm really more angry about it. And I think this specific piece was basically based on this anger. And it's like, yeah, it's gritted teeth. I mean, and there's a tear coming down on the side as well. So it's also a little bit sad, but there's also get up and stand your ground. And, you know, it's more, I moved forward, I say. I feel definitely better.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a conversation piece. That's absolutely true. I mean, and very, very well put. So, what sort of size would that picture be?
This specific one is interesting because I did it specifically for a show in Scotland. It's still on show at the House of Smalls Gallery, and I think only for this week. And the interesting part about this one, usually I work like bigger, like the women. It's almost like a normal face, maybe a little bit smaller, but the mouth is probably my face size-wise, realistically, but it's only this big. And I kept to that size because the gallery has something specific which I really wanted to be part in. I had a show there before, a group show, but they also have a dollhouse. And they have artists that are in the dollhouse. And I really wanted to go into the dollhouse. So I made this quite small. So this is probably about this size, because it's in the dollhouse.
So do you tend to actually work on sort of smaller sizes, or do you actually do anything that's, you know, big?
I never did a really, really big piece. I think most of it is like probably about 32 centimeters or whatever. Right. I don't think, I mean, I'm inspired to probably go bigger one day, but it's I haven't dared it yet.
No.
No.
So when you come to Flux, then how many pieces will you be exhibiting?
I think I planned on 9.
9. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
I think.
I mean, yeah, you got plenty of space for 9 if they're the size you say. So yeah, that'll be good. You'll be able to. I'm involved with the hanging. So
oh my God, I'm not. Oh God, this could be my worst nightmare, because it's like if I ever I have to say I was very lucky. I had an exhibition at the Saatchi Gallery. It was called Art Ground, and I was completely overwhelmed, in fact, with the fact how many drawings will I show. How, you know, it was really, really scary. And then at one point they said, you might want to come in and help us hang them. And I said, no. So I'm glad you have to do it.
No, so what Lisa does is she completely plans everybody's artwork.
That's great.
draws it all out, actually prints it out. It's all in folders, and then you know, okay, she'll say,
Fantastic.
could you go and hang this person's artwork, and you take the sheet with you, and there is the area, and you
Yes.
basically match it to what she's created. She maps it, spends a long time mapping
I
it.
can see it when I looked at the pictures. When I look at the pictures of the exhibitions earlier, they are so well hung. They look so brilliant. They sound so. They look so brilliant in the way they're put together. So it's really,
it's one of those things that there are exhibitions where the artists hang their own work, and often they're not that good at it. So you know, I think this might well be my 6th flux, but there is, you know, it's been going quite a long time now since the very first one, but Lisa's always, you know, done that part of it. It's her baby, so she's more than entitled to actually do that. She cares very deeply about the art, and also I think one of the things that I really like about it is that the exhibition flows. So you don't have 2 people doing the same thing next to each other. And in fact, it's very rare that you get 2 people doing the same thing, actually, because, you know, she curates it so well that it works out really, really well.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about it.
Yeah, and also the exhibition itself, the private view is a bit of an event. You know, there's performers and drag artists, and
I saw it. Looks right up my alley.
Yeah, it is. Now, my next question is, and I'm going to put you full screen for this.
Okay.
Perhaps you'd like to talk me through your fascination with Disney.
With Disney, okay.
Because I'm looking at your tattoos, and I can
comes,
see Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse.
Exactly. Here comes the deeper story to this. I'm outwardly, obviously, pink hair and everything. I think I'm inwardly a very deep and at times very dark person. And I think while some people who I know who are very heavily tattooed with really heavy stuff, they kind of outwardly want to portray themselves probably as stronger and tougher. And in a way, I think my obsession with Disney, apart from that I just love Donald Duck and stuff, is really that I want to give myself a more sweeter outwards thing than my inwards thing. It's probably to level out my darkness inside me, if you know what I mean. And all of my tattoos, even though they're all Disney, they all have meanings for me. It's like, for instance, I've got like these 2 Bambies here, and that was when I moved to America, and my twin sister, we lived together, and this was basically that I'm not gonna forget her, you know, even though she's not moving with me or whatever. Then I have on my back, I have Pluto and Donald as angels. That stands for my parents, who both have passed away. So they all have, I'm obviously a hopeless romantic, as we can see, and I still believe in love. So this is, again, theoretically my sister and I. So it's like they all have a deeper meaning to me as well.
Interesting. So, and is it just your upper body and your arms, or you got legs done, or
I started on the legs as well.
You started on the legs.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it gets somehow the older you get, it gets more painful. But I'm willing to cover it. So I started on the legs as well.
So I did a whole series actually of. It started. It's called the Balloon Series, and it started with 3 blonde women, perfect skin, no tattoos. That's how it started. Cute little dog. They were being held up by a balloon, and then somebody said to me at an exhibition, "So nice to see the female form without any blemishes." And I said, "It's a little bit rude. What do you mean?"
Exactly.
Tattoos like that. The minute she said it, I took a trip to the dark side where I ended up.
You are lovely. Thank you.
So my next 3 images were of 3 women who are heavily tattooed, black hair. Instead of a cute little dog, it's a Rottweiler. There's a bolt of lightning, lightning coming down, and they're held up by black balloons.
Oh, fantastic!
and but the thing about that is that was more me,
Yeah. Okay.
you
I
know,
see.
because
Mm-hmm.
people say to me, wow, you know, some of the stuff you come up with is pretty dark, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel that um and this is an interesting point. I say I do a lot of talks over the
Mm-hmm.
country, and my talk is called reality is for people with no imagination, and it's
Mm-hmm.
because you've either got it or you haven't. And I think
Mm-hmm.
what art allows you to do is
Mm-hmm.
it allows your imagination to run wild. So
Absolutely.
my one of my things I say as well is that in fact this is part of my artist statement. Now I'm sure you find I haven't this is something new, because I haven't actually spoke to any artist yet and asked them about their artist statement. But
Okay.
when you're doing an exhibition, do you not find that having to write your artist statement is one of the hardest things you can do?
It's the most horrible thing.
Yeah.
It's like when I submit stuff, it's so easy to submit art, and then comes the cringe factor. And you know what? It's like I put my hand up for being so lame. I always think, okay, I will save my artist statement this time because I worked so hard for it, and I never save it. And then I'm always ending up on the same thing that I have to put an artist statement again. So, oh, yes, I completely
It
agree.
is
This,
really
yep,
difficult, because
yep,
often sometimes the artist statement it can make or break whether you actually get into an exhibition or not, I feel.
mm-hmm,
And my one line in mine in particular is actually says, you've heard the saying, you've got to think outside the box, but if there
mm-hmm,
is a box, it's already too late. Because my view is your
mm-hmm,
imagination should only be confined by your ability. So the
exactly,
more you
exactly,
learn, the bigger that box or cage gets.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
Um, but
very true.
I've got what I would call a bit of a pretentious line at the end of it, and I think that's just purely because you know you kind of need to do that, and there are
Oh, but
people
I
that
suck at this. I don't even know what I wrote, and I probably suck at this.
yeah, but I mean, and the other thing as well is there's people now using chat GPT to create an artist statement,
That wouldn't
but
be
you
me.
no, but you can tell straight away it's been written by chat GPT.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, no, it doesn't work at all. But it is very interesting. So I had my artist statement, and I basically decided that I saved it, and that's what I put out every time. I haven't changed it
Good
because,
man.
you know, I actually felt that I had created the best I could. I don't see that I could change. If I
I
changed it, I'd probably ruin it. So,
I
so
feel you so much on this. I mean, honestly, this is like my biggest ugh. And then it's like, even when it's on a whim, when I think I'm gonna submit stuff, and then I'm doing fine, fine, fine. Yes, I'm submitting, I'm good. And then artist statement, boom. So
yeah.
I completely feel you.
So I would, but what I would also say to you, which I've said to every artist that's going to be exhibiting at Flux, is, and I don't think, having spoken to you now for 45 minutes nearly,
Mhm.
I don't think you'll have any trouble whatsoever in what I'm going to say. But just talk to people. You
Oh,
just need to talk to people.
it's so funny because I think you think that I love talking, and obviously I can talk for days, but I'm really shy. So I will talk to people, but I will cringe about it. Like I
Yeah,
probably even
but
cringed
you
before this
see,
interview.
right. So this is the thing as well, is that you do get artists who stand there, and they, when you say to them, you know, do you not think you should be talking to
Hmm.
people that are walking by? And they go, well, my art does the talking, but it doesn't,
Yeah.
because people buy into you. Now, big, huge chunk of my work is steampunk. I will be at Flux,
Hmm.
not just dressed as a steampunk, but I have a big pair, never done this before at Flux, but I'm going to this time.
Looking
I've got
forward.
a huge pair of stainless steel and calico wings. That is a steampunk
Wow.
jetpack. I'm going to be wearing
Fantastic.
those.
Oh, well,
I've said it now, so I'm going to be wearing them.
I
But
already also planned on a wild outfit, but you go ahead. Yep.
right, but this is the thing. The thing is that because of your tattoos,
Hmm.
you will get people asking and talking to you.
Hmm.
You we all need something.
Mhm.
And talking is the thing that a lot of people say I do I do the best because I don't stop. But the truth
Same
is,
here.
that no one can sell your art better than you,
That's
because
true.
you're the person who
Mhm.
knows it the most. And people, look, they want to know your technique. They want to know, who is that
Mm.
person? Is it something, etc.
Mm.
All the questions I'm asking. So the
Mm.
whole idea of this series of interviews is that when all those people are around you and you can't
Mhm.
talk to all of them, you
Mhm.
can say, jump online. There's a
I think that's
1 hour
good.
interview with me, and
Exactly, that's good.
people can find out about your work
Exactly,
and
that's good.
what the theory is behind it. That's the whole
Mhm.
thing. And also, it's PR is a difficult thing for artists because we're all busy people. We're all trying to get all of our art done,
Mm.
and getting more and more followers on Instagram or Facebook is not really high on the list.
Yeah.
Um, and so therefore it falls to the bottom, doesn't it? It's the last thing
Mhm.
you think about wanting to
Absolutely,
do.
yeah.
And I'm kind of feel that the best PR possible that you can do actually is to do an exhibition,
Mm.
because
I think so
yeah,
too.
people.
Mhm.
One thing I would say is, I know your work is what it is, but I think it's also very worthwhile of you having a few prints to sell.
Yeah, I know. I should
Yeah,
go for that.
because
I've been thinking about that. Mhm.
I tend to say this every week because it is a thing of mine, but there's a very good reason for it. So you have your original piece of art,
Mhm.
and that one person is going to buy that piece of art, and that one person might have a dozen people who come to their house who will see it.
Mm.
But if you've got another 25 prints of
That's
that,
very true. That's
you've
very
got
true.
25 more people that have got it on the wall, and
You're
therefore
absolutely
more
right.
people seeing it. So
You're absolutely right.
it's very worthwhile having
That's very
prints of
true.
your work.
I thought about that, and
Yeah.
I really have to kick my bum and go for this because I think
Well, yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. Mm.
And also, I mean, it's particularly resonates with me because my work is a lot of money, but which means that your market for that is
Mhm.
reduced.
Mhm.
Um, and there are a lot of people who really love the work and want a piece of it,
Exactly,
but
and can't afford it
I can't
because it's
afford it,
original.
but
Exactly.
they could afford a
Mhm.
print. So, and I find so you'll see some of the people that are at Flux, like Leslie Aldaker. She
Mhm.
does that kind of thing,
Mhm.
um, and it means that your following then gets bigger because
Mhm. Yeah,
etc.
I
etc.
completely that's absolutely right. I think I thought about that and you're absolutely right on that. And I think yeah, it's just I know it from myself if I go to certain art shows and I see a piece I really, really absolutely love, but obviously cannot afford. So basically I will have it in my dreams, yeah, and probably on my phone when I took a picture, but that's about it. And I think often that how good it is that prints are available. I have a few artists I really love, which I could never afford to buy, but I have prints, and you're absolutely right. I think I really should go for that.
Yeah, and it is an interesting thing because because my work is photographic. Obviously, it is a
Hmm.
print, but it's printed on metal, which means
Hmm.
that actually the way that they print it, everyone is slightly different, which
Hmm.
means each one is a one-off. But I do
Hmm.
7, but then
Hmm.
I will also do some smaller paper versions
Hmm.
for people to be able to afford it.
Hmm.
However, I will tell you about my very first one that I sold. And the woman said to me, before I hand my credit card over, you're not going to be doing mugs and calendars or anything like that, are you? And I said, no. And she said, good, because I've got an original Jack Vetriano and it's in my loft, because the day he started doing that, it
Yeah,
wasn't, it no longer had any meaning, worthless to me. So it's
exactly,
in the loft. So yeah,
exactly.
it's interesting. You have to, I think there are people that do that and they've got a really
Yeah.
good business from it. but I think also you do, and I've had lots of conversations with Lisa about artists and businesses, and I think that each artist needs to step back, look at what they do, and realize it's a business and you're creating a product. And if you want to, everybody hears about the struggling artist, don't they? So, but half the time it's because the artist hasn't got the business sense to think, you know
Absolutely.
what, we could do this,
Absolutely.
and do this. And
Absolutely.
that unfortunately that does apply to a lot. And I think I'm trying to, I suppose, through doing this series, I'm trying to spread the word to say, look, come on, think about what you're doing and the fact that
I think that's really, really good. It's funny because because my sister's an artist as well, and we were quite often talking about it during the last months and stuff. And I think it's definitely good that you say that to the artists you interview and spread the word, because I think it's similar to music. There's still, you can write the greatest songs, but if you don't know how to market it for yourself, or if you don't know how to push it forward in the sense that more people hear it, or it's more like reachable for people, you can write the greatest songs. It's not going to go anywhere because you don't see it as a business, but only as music. So I completely understand.
Yeah, and it is. It's it's quite difficult, isn't it? Look, everybody struggles at first to put a price on their work. I'm very fortunate that I have a business. This is not my main income. So I can actually be a bit stubborn and say, no, sorry, that's how much it is. And if you don't want it, don't have it.
Good. That's great that you've got the opportunity.
And I think you need to be a bit like that, because then, and I inbuild things as well, but I'm always thinking about the fact that actually, if someone really wants your work, the price is immaterial.
It's true.
I used to be quite funny about it too, that I would only sell my work to someone that I genuinely believe really wanted it. And one guy said to me one day,
"This is the man who says it's a business. You got to."
I know. This is what I know. This is what I use. I know. I'm not saying I'm not a contradictor, but yeah, I sold it to him, but he wanted I'm just going to stick it up on the office wall. And I thought, no. So what I do is every piece of art I sell, of my big works, I deliver it, and we talk about where it's going to hang, what the light, because light's really important with mine.
I imagine. Yeah.
Because the metal that it's printed on reflects the light back through it, so it's very important. So I will deliver it. Doesn't matter where it is in the world. Actually, I've been to a few places to deliver it, but
that's brilliant, though.
It's important that there is that connection as well.
I understand.
So, yeah, really, yeah. And
I understand.
As I said, I know I'm not a contradiction. Right, before we finish, I'm going to bring up let me share the entire screen, and it's this one. So I'm just going to bring this up because this is your Instagram page. So people can find you, and I'll quickly...
But this is my this is my private Instagram. Well, it's not private, but it's my personal Instagram page.
Okay, so your other one is called
Holl Nerreter Art 2.
Not okay. So look, let me just change that. And
I'm just not posting selfie on my artist profile. That's my
okay. Well, yeah. No, see, look, it's
that's
not,
weird. Holl
no,
Nerreter
it's not.
Art 2?
It's not. It's because I spelt it wrong.
Okay,
here we go.
It's not an easy name.
That's more like
there
it.
It is.
Okay, cool. There it is.
Yeah.
So that's all brilliant, because all your work is on there as well. And then so let's have a little look. Yeah, and look, you need more followers. So everybody that's watching this, please jump on. And
I would love to have you
get some poor people there, and there we go. Follow back. You've done that too.
Fantastic.
So and also what I will do, I will be posting about this interview, so I will add you as a collaborator. But then we also have your actual website, and you'll
yeah.
see this is the love. So there's others in this series as well that we've already been looking at, and you do actually create an absolutely superb eye. I have to say,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
They are absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
And let's have a look at a few other Tears Lost in the Rain.
Yeah, that
So-
was that's actually a series. I know we don't have much time left. That was when my mom got diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Oh,
and
no.
actually in the left one you see in the big eye, you actually see the reflection, the MRI with my mom's brain tumor, where it was in the location. So yeah, that has lots to do with grief and loss.
Oh dear. Yeah. I won't talk about this on air, but I have a bit of an affinity with things like that. And then we've got some other works as well, which is
this is a mix of very early works, which is the Prisoner with the Face Tattoos, which is like the very first probably I did on a portrait level. And then we also have there's another man in there in the middle row, which is actually a homeless man, which I befriended outside my supermarket, and I actually gifted that drawing to him. So.
So it's up on the screen in front. I'm actually looking at it on my other screen because that's quite a bit bigger. I can see a bit more.
I imagine.
I'm not just looking the other way or anything. I'm not reading an email or anything like
that's
that.
Okay. That's okay.
And let's have a look. Here we go. We got the last sort of page here is the ones that we've been looking at. Didn't actually see this one down here in the ones that you sent me, but that's
maybe I didn't.
Yeah, that is a great image. Yeah. So that's it. Very interesting as well. So
I love the progression.
The progression. Yeah. So that's something. And two, you've done it here. And I think posting. I don't know whether you do this on your Instagram page.
Yeah, I do it as well.
Yeah. So do you do any videos of that?
No, I didn't do any video yet.
Okay, well, that's the next thing you need to do, I think, because the way that the algorithms work on Instagram is
I know the reels.
Yeah, the reels are the big thing. But it's been fascinating, and quite honestly,
thank you so much for
having me. A bit fed up that the hour is up because
that was fast.
It's been brilliant.
Thank you.
But I knew it would be. We had a little chat beforehand, and I thought, this is going to be a good one. I did say that to people.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Don't rush off, because once I stop the screen, we'll have a stream. We'll have a little quick chat afterwards. But for now, Holly, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It was really an honor. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So there you go. I told you that. I told you it will be a good one. Now, if you have just watched this, you'll have realised that there's no chat, and that is because we've pre-recorded it a day before. So actually, it's Wednesday, and you'll be watching this on Thursday. I have a uni reunion tomorrow. It's probably going to end up being a bit messy, but so that's why we've recorded it a day before, and it will be coming out tomorrow. I don't know about next week's guest just yet, because I've still got to put all the video and stuff together, but I'm pretty sure it's a photographer. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do is quickly open up the sheet that tells me. That's probably a good place to start. Yes, it is. It's Nigel Ryan next week, and if you are a photographer, you do seriously want to be watching that one, because he is brilliant. The chances are that could end up also being a pre-record, because I've got to be an event, but I think it finishes early enough, so it won't be. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.